Hello, KartaSoft has conjoined to introduce unique nation-changing content from fire neural networks, headed by academics at the University of Florida. The following clip showcases the identification and reporting of lightning strikes within 40 seconds that actually cause bushfires. This content set supports our vision of a federated, national, public-facing emergency dashboard, amplified by unique data sets, and builds on our work with the New South Wales Government. The KartaSoft team were joined by Istvan Kerezi, leading and spearheading the preparation and analysis of lightning data for use in AI detection at the University of Florida, and Assistant Professor Dr. Imran Bartos, an international prize winner for his work in predictive technology.
So why lightning? Lightning is the #1 cause of bushfires in terms of area burned. Seconds after the lightning strikes, we can already provide the warning. So LNU complex fire was the 4th largest bushfire in Californian history. And so 6 lightning strikes started the fire, but actually there were 5,711 strikes in this area. And so what happened? What happened was that the fire operational managers were overwhelmed by lightning. Showing that there's lightning everywhere is like showing that there's lightning nowhere. FNN identified 26 high-risk lightning strikes out of this 5,711, 6 actually ignited fires. This is actionable intelligence. It can be delivered to firefighters within seconds. So the fire basically transformed the landscape. And so for the operational triage process, it's essential to understand that the landscape looks like this when we send out the warning. When fires are called in, when satellite systems and camera systems start picking things up, it often looks like this. It's already in a retrospective, reactive mode. We can see what the machine learning based algorithm saw in our case. We knew within seconds that this is a high-risk event. It took us 40 seconds for FNN to detect and alert. Now, for geostationary fire detection, it took 30 minutes. So this is the figure from our AI that shows the signal when we first saw the fire. This compares to a 6-hour delay with NASA's MODIS satellite and 16 hours to CAL FIRE's official start time when they actually reacted to the fire. And so with bushfires, every second counts, and that's a really crucial aspect of HRL. The high-risk lightning looks like this. There's no devastation yet. It's basically a nice plain landscape, and then we send out the warnings in 40 seconds. You cannot see anything on the field. You cannot see anything from polar satellites or from geostationary satellites. But you already know that there was a high-risk event and there's a risk of ignition. And so FNN detects and reports these high-risk lightning strikes in seconds. So when the warning is sent out, we're able to also attach a probability, a risk factor to these lightning strikes. And this risk factor can be efficiently managed based on the lightning load and also the available capacity of the fire managers to manage risk based on your own operational perspective. The reactive efforts, which were based on NASA's polar satellites, allowed the fire to spread to an area of 22 square kilometers. That's when they had to call in the DC-10 aircraft to delineate the fire perimeter and start putting the fire out. And so the proactive versus reactive approach shows that it's much less costly, much less dangerous, and much quicker to put out a fire when high-risk lightning is used.
So one of the advantages of an AI-based approach is that we can identify nonlinear processes as well. So these weights are often not just the same everywhere and will depend on other parameters. And this dependence can also be nonlinear, which is something that the machine can learn, basically. So we often don't have a particular weight even after the training process. We have a more complex combination of weights that account for the different other local aspects of the data that we have.
Are we only going to look at lightning strikes that are above 50 kiloamperes? only look at negative ones, only look at positive ones, do some analysis like that, we do not see a clear connection if we separate them out. When we do see the clear connection is then when we use these various data inputs together. And using them together, that's how we get this more layered approach, where we can say that high-risk lightning is this strike, but high-risk lightning is not that strike. So basically being able to separate the high-risk and non.
I think, one of the interesting aspects is, I think this is the reason this problem was not solved already, that there is no one aspect. It's more complex, unfortunately, in general. That means that we have to incorporate more information.
Often in our southwest of Western Australia, we have lightning strikes that they'll strike in heavy forested areas, and we'll have a little bit of rain with that strike. So we get what's called sleepers. So we'll have a fire sitting for 12 hours, 24 hours, 48, even 72 hours and longer.
Yeah.
So could the technology predict that a strike could cause a fire? So it's looking forward at weather conditions, fuel conditions, and it can predict that this strike could potentially be a fire in 12 hours, 24 hours, etc.
Yeah, this is so the way this question also came up in our case was we wanted to know how long data we have to integrate to find when the fire starts, and we identify this 3-day period as the roughly the period in which this can happen. So things like this can be predicted, and it's interesting that you see the same there.